I'm Caleb Harris, and today I'll be speaking about gun control. Imagine you're waking up, right? And you hear gunshots. Wouldn't you be scared? Unfortunately, I live in America, and this is reality that I face every day. So I don't panic anymore when I hear these gunshots. Instead, I hear them and continue my day. It's just become regular background noise. And that is not just a reality for me, but this is reality for tons of Americans in the United States. Gun violence has truly become a major issue in the United States, with incidents of mass shootings, homicides, and suicides involving firearms rising at an alarming rate. Though the debate on gun laws is not new, it's become more prevalent as ever. Is there a dire need for more stringent gun laws and regulations? We live in a world where public safety should be prioritized, and the gun violence affects everyone. Whether it's a school shooting, a robbery gone wrong, or a tragic accident, no one is immune to the effects of gun regulation and the consequences of unchecked access to the firearms. Gun violence is responsible for tens and thousands of deaths each year in the United States, according to the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, in 2023. This affects families, communities, and public health. Finding a solution is not just an ethical responsibility, but this is a public necessity. I will discuss the seriousness of gun violence in the United States and the causes that contribute to this crisis and the potential solutions. First, I would like to examine the causes of the increase in gun violence, and then I'll explore the effects of this violence on the American society, and finally discuss solutions and including stricter gun laws measures. One cause of gun violence is the access to firearms and the lack of adequate regulation. According to the study by American Journal of Public Health in 2022, the United States has a higher rate of gun ownership compared to other developed nations, with an estimated 393 million guns in civilian hands. This widespread access is easily a factor to the increased risk of gun violence. Not only that, but the influence of gun lobbying has been a major factor to the cause of gun violence. The NRA, also known as the National Rifle Association, and other lobbying groups have consistently opposed to gun control laws, thereby shaping public policy and allowing easy access to weapons. Due to the lobbying groups having such an impact on government, the government has not yet cracked down on these gun control laws, and it hasn't seemed that they are, especially with the new president, Donald Trump. Socioeconomic factors and mental health issues are also a very big problem and cause of gun violence. As researchers from the National Institute of Mental Health in 2021 suggest that while mental illness is often cited in gun violence incidents, it's usually a combination of factors such as socioeconomic stress, trauma, and, of course, the easy access to firearms, which leads to then violence. This gun violence affects communities and societies at an alarming rate. But now that we understand the causes of gun violence, let's examine the effects of the violence it has on societies. For one, the loss of families and family members and the impact it has on the community is major. I unfortunately lost two of my close friends, and one of them this year, to the effects of gun violence. It's really sad to speak about because I know I'm not the only one. However, both of these kids were under 18. They had a lot to live for, and both of their murderers were under 18 as well. And it's very sad to hear that even an 18-year-old can get access to a gun or even have the ability to murder someone at that capability due to the high-powered weaponry that they had. And that's another issue, which will lead to the economic cost of gun violence. Gun violence also incurs high economic costs, as the Public Health Association in 2022 reported that the annual cost of gun violence, including health care, law enforcement, and lost productivity, exceeded $200 billion each year. Not to mention the mental health consequences for survivors and communities. For years, I struggled after losing my first friend because I did never had to deal with something like that. And it was truly traumatizing for me as I was scared that either family members or friends could get hurt again. And of course it did. And now I sit there and I struggle each day trying to proceed in life with that new fear of mine that maybe who's next? Could it be me or could it be my friend that's right next to me? Due to the easy accessibility to guns and the low risk of gun laws. After considering the causes and effects, let's now look at the solutions that can help to reduce gun violence. My main point would be implementing universal background checks. Research by the Giffords Law Centers in 2023 shows that universal background checks are one of the most effective ways to prevent firearms from falling into the wrong hands, including criminals and those with a history of domestic violence. However, these universal background checks aren't solicited as much as they should be. Gun shows don't even require these universal background checks, and you can just get a gun and walk home without no one knowing who you are. My other point would be banning assault weapons in high-capacity magazines. A study by the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence in 2022 suggests that banning assault weapons in high-capacity magazines will reduce the lethality of mass shootings and prevent numerous of deaths. Overall, in a summary, in conclusion, gun violence in the United States is caused by the easy access of firearms, the insufficient regulation, and a variety of socioeconomic and mental health factors. The effects of this violence are far-reaching, affecting individuals, communities, and the economy. However, by implementing common sense solutions such as universal background checks, banning assault weapons, and more mental health evaluations as well, we can significantly reduce gun-related deaths and create a safer society. It's time for us to take responsibility for our actions and for our communities. By enacting stronger gun control laws, we can work toward a future where tragic headlines and gun violence are no longer a part